before the race started. Roglic had to abandon the race due to the crash yesterday. A real shame because, I don't know, going back and watching the footage of his attack yesterday, it was really, really impressive. Like attacking, he was in terrible position, attacking from there on a false flat, gapping the peloton, holding it for 3Ks. Super impressive, but he's out. So that meant big changes, Benji, in the GC. Henrik Mas, the model of consistency this Vuelta, moved into second, which is good news for Movistar and points. And Ayuso moved into third on 4:49. Now that opened up third, the big battle for that, because there's a huge gap to Mas from Remco of 2 minutes. But the gap from Ayuso on 4:50 to Rodriguez is 25 seconds, and to Lopez was 35 seconds. So that really opened things up. Might have heard yesterday, if you missed that pod, it was a banger. But we've mentioned the upcoming changes to Zwift, but Zwift have just announced a new smart trainer to the Zwift Hub on sale from the 3rd of October. You can pre-register if you're in the UK, Europe, or USA. Zwift are breaking down the barriers to indoor training by making this trainer cheaper and easier to set up than any other trainer on the market. If you compare it to other trainers of a similar spec, with a cassette install, which you can choose 8.2, 12 speed, and SRAM, Campagnolo, or Shimano. If you compare the spec, don't take my word for it. Go and see the independent review guys on YouTube. It's crazy, crazy price. And that's just breaking down the barriers. So they're rolling out on 3rd of October. To sign up for notifications for when Zwift Hub goes on sale, or to find out more about Zwift and the new smart trainer, head to Zwift.com or to Zwift's YouTube channel. Where do you see Rodriguez strengths against a Juan Ayuso, or a Lopez strength against Ayuso, or their relative team strengths as it applies to this third week?
Well, with a third week like this, it becomes very difficult for the riders that are in there to move past an Ayuso, in my opinion, because an Ayuso on paper is a rider that is quite punchy in a final kick on a hill and on a not so crazy climb when it comes to, like, we don't have a Sierra Nevada anymore, stuff like that. We have climbs that are shallow and are not 18 kilometers, for example. So on paper, an Ayuso should be able to follow on that terrain, and he has the kick that a Rodriguez does not have, that a Lopez has, but not crazy like an Ayuso has. Lopez has a kick, but not like that. I wouldn't rate it like that, like an Ayuso. So that's the benefit that an Ayuso has, and it fits on the last week of this Vuelta. So Ayuso being in the pole position of that third position of GC now is a good position to be in for him. Rodriguez, I'm a bit meh when it comes to him now in week 3. I find it hard to believe that he's going to get that third spot unless they get something tactical going. As in, Yui has shown so far in this Vuelta that Almeida has not been willing to work for an Ayuso, even with the gap that is currently in front of Almeida. Like, he's, I think, a minute 40 behind Lopez. Is he just trying to gain time on Arensman? Stuff like that. I don't know. Perhaps trying to secure his top 7 or trying to hunt for that top 5 himself. But if I was UAE, I'd try to secure the Ayuso spot, that third spot more, and perhaps they would do that in week 3. We'll see in today's stage, for example. But when it comes to Rodriguez and Lopez, Lopez needs the bigger climbs, and those aren't here in this third week. So
And steep.
It's difficult. Yeah, it's
like
difficult.
I think
for
he
those
likes Gamoniteru, which doesn't exist. 9%.
Yeah.
What is Rodriguez? He's lighter than Ayuso by 5 kilos, right? Like I think he's that diesel, wants that 14K, 9% climb. Even Sierra Nevada, it's like 5%. That doesn't even suit him. And wasn't he was in the wind just suffering on that 4% section. Do you think, I will get into the recap in a minute, but I think the UAE team is way stronger than Ineos on paper in the actual medium mountains. Polance, Soler, Almeida, Ayuso. That's really good, those 4 guys. The problem is then Soler goes in every break and they're all not working for each other, whereas Ineos are all in on Rodriguez. That's the big advantage he has. that he has, Van Baal, Turner, Gegenhardt, Plapp at his disposal fully. I think that is an advantage. I just wonder which stages UAE can get burnt on.
My issue with UAE is that I think that it genuinely looks, when you look at this Vuelta, it looks like Almeida in his Portuguese jersey, Ayuso in his white jersey, and then we've got Soler in the normal UAE jersey. I think they all think they're riding for a different team. I don't think at any point, except for perhaps that rolling attacks against Rodriguez moment on Sierra Nevada, outside of that, I haven't seen those three really work well together so far. I think Soler helped a tiny bit at Sierra Nevada as well for one of the riders. I'm
No,
not certain there.
he
Did he
did.
not?
I didn't see it on.
Ah,
I saw him looking back and dropping back, but I think
yeah.
by the time he did, it was way too late, and he was
Okay.
stuffed. Yeah, I think. I don't know. It's a soft third week, but already we saw yesterday Roglic can make big changes. Lopez as well. He's got Lutsenko, Tejada, Pronsky, De La Cruz. It is a strong
Come
team.
on.
Nibali.
Yeah,
Well,
but
it's the same as UAE. They don't work for each other.
I haven't seen Pronsky in this entire race. I think once.
Nah,
Sorry,
he's been
once.
there. He's been there.
In the dark, in like the darkness somewhere at the back somewhere. But Nibali, like I'm spoiling a small part of today's stage by saying this, but Nibali was at the front of like the GC group on the final climb. What's his role there? What is he
Dude,
doing there? He's not even getting Lopez to the front. I think he's just there to have fun.
don't you think, compared to Contador's 2017 send off, the Valverde and Nibali final Grand Tours have been the biggest disappointment from
Yeah.
an entertainment perspective, particularly Valverde. Like, I know he's not in great shape, but he's still Valverde. He can still do something from a breakaway. There's been so many stages like this, nailed on break. We didn't even mention him yesterday because he's not even trying to get in the breakaways. It's like, and he was strong. Like, what's the point of, I don't know, Ultima Bala going for like 15th on GC? It's just, I don't know, it's a shame to just go out with a whimper like this.